Hi, my name's Mike. I'm here to show off my new 2016 Toyota Tundra and the tonneau cover I got for it. It's the Extang EnCore tri-fold tonneau cover, and new for 2016 is the matte black finish that matches perfectly with the bed rails of the truck and the rest of the trim. A nice feature about the EnCore is the bolt front end entry. With my ignition key, you can program the bolt to lock right here, unlock, turn it here, lift up, and access the front of your cargo bed. One thing I would caution you on is something I didn't think about, which would not have dissuaded me from selecting this tonneau cover, but if you're going in over the top, make sure you haven't got any belt buckles or your Marshall Dillon cell phone holder or anything like that to be scratching up your paint job in your truck. It has two tethers over here to keep this thing in place. Works real nice. The drain rail system is right here. One of the reasons I got this tonneau cover is when it's closed, it still allows me access to my bed rails. And I put these bull rings on here, and I'll explain why I did that later, but it doesn't conflict. Works real nice. When you come around here to the back, this is the business end of the pickup truck, of course. Reach in, grab the strap. She folds up like this. She can fold up yet again. Snaps right here. Again on the other side, and you can drive like this as long as your safety tethers are in place and the thing is latched right here. You're good to go, and you have 3/4 access to your bed. It's not full access like some of the others talk about, but if you really need full access, it's pretty simple. Turn and leave that up. Turn this up, and now the whole thing's going to lift right off the truck. You really can't do that with any of the other tonneau covers. I mean, even if you wanted to just lift it off and set it in and take it with you with whatever other cargo you're handling, so that when you get to your destination you can unload your cargo like if you were camping, which is what I do, and then put your cover back on, and while you're on your camping trip, the truck can remain covered. And that's one of the features I really liked about the EnCore. I could remove it easily. I could 3/4 fold it. I could access it from the front. I mean, to me, it's the most versatile tonneau cover you can get. One of the things I was concerned about was how far back it reaches here. You can see that it covers, and I wasn't sure if that was enough of a cover. You can see how much it actually covers. What is there, about an inch and a half there, and I was afraid that maybe that wouldn't be enough, so when I first put it in, I set it back 1/4 of an inch from what it is supposed to be. It didn't seem to make a whole lot of difference, so this afternoon before we filmed, I put it right back where it belongs. I've got Line-X. I've got a bed rug in here that makes it all nice and snotty, just so it's, when you climb up in it, it's pretty smooth. If you got to get in here and crawl around, this little bed rug comes in real handy to keep your knees from getting beat up and to get in here and do whatever you have to do. These drain rails, come on around here, these drain rails go to the drain tube and out the front it goes. Unlike some of the other models, there's a cap right here that keeps the water from backing out and coming back into your bed. So it's in here and out or nowhere. So yeah, there's just nothing really to complain about it on this tonneau cover. It does everything I want it to do. One problem I did have, and right in the forward corner where these clamps go, I had to rig a shim right here, that white piece of plastic you see, because if I didn't do that, when I tighten this thing down, the drain rail angled down too far to where this wasn't catching. And I wasn't sure if it was a flaw in the design of the Tundra or what was going on here. But the only way I was able to resolve the issue was to put in an artificial piece of shim here that I made out of a piece of plastic. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick. And I put that in between the drain rail and the bed rail, and then screwed down my clamp, and all is well. So, you know, I really want to brag on Extang and their marketing vice president, Steve Kelly, who I met at the Eastern Sports and Outdoors Show in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And I picked his brains to the point of probably being a real pain, but I really wanted to get this right. This is my first new truck, and I did not want to regret anything that I put on it, and so I put a lot of research into it, and I looked at the back flips, and I looked at undercover. I used to have an undercover on my Ford F-150 before I got this. And if you're really after waterproof, I mean, if you're really after something that's going to keep your stuff dry pretty much no matter what, the only way to go is with one of those undercover solid clamshell covers that lifts like the trunk of or the hood of your car and back down. And getting that off whenever you need full access to your bed is not a fun thing, but it can be done. But I don't want to do it that way, so you know, I did it that way on the Ford F-150 because that F-150 I had, the only cover I could get for it was a cover like that. They didn't make a cover like this for that particular model. It was such an older model. But one last thing, back to the bull ring. Another reason why I did this is when we go camping, we take bikes. And in my old setup, I'd have to take that undercover off and hang it in the garage, rack up the bikes, put in my other stuff, drive to camp. If it rained on the way, everything got wet. Once I got up there and got everything offloaded, there sat my truck with no cover on it because the cover was back here at the house. And so what I planned to do as I researched all this out was I put a piece of foam to protect my cover and a very thin piece of Luan plywood on top of that foam to give it some rigidity. And I lay the bikes down. Now this was designed to be a cover, not a carrier, so you got to be careful. You can't put a lot of weight on this. But nevertheless, bikes aren't a lot of weight, especially the aluminum mountain bikes today. So, protect your cover. Laid some material on here, laid the bikes down, popped up my bull rings, ran my straps, snugged it up, and it worked perfect. It just worked perfect. The bike stayed in place. In spite of my son's reservations about my plan, it worked out real nice. And once we got to camp, you know, everything that was under the cover was dry. The bikes, you know, if they get wet, they get wet. They did anyway in the old setup. So off came the bikes, out came the load, cover stayed in place. Everything was perfect. So, EnCore by Extang, you know, you'd really have a hard time convincing me to go another way. Thank you. Steve Kelly, thanks a lot.